guys! Today, we'll be recapping a story called Even Though I Became a Side Character, I'm Being Adored by an Overprotective Duke. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Enjoy! Letitia is a lovely lady with long, flowing, golden blonde hair and beautiful blue eyes. So it's no surprise that these handsome, blonde, and charming ginger-haired guys are competing for her attention. However, this baffles our girl because it contradicts the structure of the game. Plus, she's just a background character. What are background characters? You know, those characters behind the villainess who's having a good laugh, or those maids casually walking through a scene just to add some background flair. Yep, it is the role our girl was reincarnated into when she was born within this game. Today, while she's enjoying her peace and quiet, her sister pops into her room to share the exciting news that her fiance is going to be a duke. However, as someone who has played this game, Letitia knows that the marriage will sadly end up being transferred to her. Alexia Lambert is one of the villains who will give the female lead a hard time. And guess what? Our girl Letitia has somehow been reborn as Alexia's twin sister. In the game, Alexia dislikes her fiance, so she forces him on Letitia, which is exactly what is happening today when Alexia begins to act sick after meeting her fiance, Lionel. This girl begins to cry and proposes to their parents that Letitia, who is healthy, marry Lionel, and their parents promptly agree without even considering Letitia's feelings. In this world, magic is vital, and Letitia knows she is being disregarded because she's the daughter with weak magic. This makes her very frustrated. Like, duh, she's more than just her twin substitute. Letitia is on her way to the Le Grand Dukedom to meet her fiancé. While her parents seem a bit worried, she smiles, embracing her role as a background character getting engaged. As she remembers, the game is set to happen at the Academy in 5 years, and Lionel is just a side character since he's on the chubby side compared to the others. When she arrives at the dukedom, Lionel is busy studying, so she decides to greet him first. This prompts the boy to look her way, and oh wow, he is really adorable! Letitia can't help but stare at him, thinking that a little fat loss would really enhance his handsomeness, but regardless, she's already smitten by his cuteness. A chonky cinnamon roll, and it isn't even a flaw! Letitia is so amazed by Lionel's graceful and perfect curtsy as he greets her back. After all, this little boy is only supposed to be a year older than she is. Letitia watches as Lionel fumbles his invitation to the garden, where he explains that they have seasonal flowers that only blossom at certain times of the year. Despite her admiration for the boy, she wishes he had more confidence. Perhaps it's because they're both background characters, but she wants to help him out and get to know him more even though they've just only met. When they arrive at the garden, our girl is really happy about how pretty the flowers are, and she appreciates how considerate Lionel is for giving her a shawl. She is surprised that she is being treated so well at the Le Grand, since if this happens back home, Alexia will undoubtedly take the pretty shawl from her, while their father will merely apologize to her. When she glances back, she's quite surprised to find Lionel lying on the ground, panting. She quickly rushes over to check on him as he explains that he's just exhausted and suggests that she should go on without him. She instinctively holds his hand and offers a warm smile, encouraging him that they can walk together and take their time. She quickly realizes that it was quite rude of her to grab his hand without thinking, but to her surprise, he blushes, which seems to show that he's okay with it. They hold hands as they walk, and it's just the sweetest thing to see both of these kids blushing. The chemistry is already chemistrying! They're back in the mansion, and our girl is especially enjoying the sweets because Alexia eats all the yummy ones at home. She then notices Lionel is only looking at her and not eating, so she concludes he dislikes sweets, but she is mistaken. People with greater magic like Lionel can't control their power while their bodies are little, so he drove himself to get bigger by eating. But the people began labeling him unsightly and unsuitable as a Le Grand heir, so he now avoids sweets. It's frustrating how judgmental people can be. He's just a baby and is allowed to eat sweets, you know? Hearing that Lionel is being bullied because of his appearance makes her feel sad, as she can relate to that experience from her own past. At school, she goes by unnoticed, with no one really knowing her name. People often refer to her as plain, and it seems her parents favor her sister, who shines brighter in their eyes. Yes, even in her past life, she never felt what it was like to be the main character of her own life, so she shut herself off from everyone else. However, she is pleasantly surprised to find that Lionel is actually different. He doesn't want to harm his family's reputation, and he won't let those people who call him worthless get to him. She sees that this boy is eager to change himself and take charge of his own story, and for that reason, she is truly excited to lend a hand. In this world, having a bigger body means more control over your magic, but then she realizes that maybe he can just train his body, like maybe make his muscles bigger. The two became great childhood friends over time, and before she realized it, Lionel had grown taller and slimmer. I miss those plump cheeks already! Anyway, this is the result of their 2-year planking and workout regimen. In this game world, physical training is for people who want to improve their swordsmanship, while becoming larger is for those who want to improve their magic. Therefore, it caused quite a stir at Legrand when they chose to work out. However, when they discover that Lionel can now manage his power even more, Lionel's parents are overjoyed, and our girl grows closer to the entire Legrand Duchy. At first, Letitia felt quite concerned about Lionel's stamina, but the boy was incredibly determined to push through his training and kept putting in the effort that she couldn't help but ruffle his hair and commend him today. She quickly pulls her hand away, and our guy here turns red because he actually likes it. But since she doesn't hear him, he simply shrugs it off and says they should start studying. Since meeting Lionel, things have taken a different turn around Letitia. Well, it seems like Alexia's glares are getting a bit more intense lately. Maybe she's feeling a bit jealous? Secondly, the planking exercise became a favorite training in the Legrand, and on top of that, the Legrand household keeps treating her to delightful sweets. It's also great that Lionel isn't afraid to enjoy sweets anymore. And that really brings her joy. I love how she really helped him grow. Today, as she visits the Legrand Duchy, she gets a little surprised to see Lionel wobbling, making her quickly suspect that this boy must have tripped again. Now that she thinks about it, Lionel is covering his face with his bangs, so she suggests they give him a little trim. Emma, Letitia's personal maid, really gets into it and adds a touch of drama while giving Lionel his haircut, and the result is just fantastic. Letitia can't help but admire how handsome he is, while Lionel is just happy that he can see her better now. In just 3 years, Lionel will enroll in the Magical Academy, which marks the beginning of the game. She feels a bit anxious because his appearance isn't the same as in the game, and she wonders what might happen to both of them. It's a busy day at the Lambert residence, with the maids eagerly working to make Letitia look extra pretty today. What's the reason? Oh, they're off to the Crown Prince's birthday banquet! The Crown Prince is one of the options in the game, and in this route, Alexia will fall in love with him and take on the role of the villainess, so Letitia is quite concerned about what might unfold at the party. To her surprise, her twin sister isn't interested in the Crown Prince at all and is just gazing at Roland, the blonde-haired boy Letitia was supposed to get engaged to in the past. Just then, a group of young noble ladies starts to gather around them, and Alexia can't help but show off her stunning designer red dress. However, when they glance at Letitia in her simple blue dress, their smiles start to fade, and they even begin to whisper that the twins are very different from each other. Letitia hates this, and she despises parties in particular, since she is constantly made to feel inferior to show-stopping Alexia. Our poor girl decides to take a little break, and as soon as she finds a quieter spot, she softly mumbles about wanting to go home already, not realizing that a boy heard her. He mentions that it's quite rare for young ladies to feel bored at this party, as many of them are excited to see the Crown Prince. Blonde hair and that stylish black fur cape, he is definitely the Crown Prince. Letitia says that perhaps the Crown Prince isn't really fond of the party, considering it must be quite exhausting to handle so many excited ladies. This is actually noted in the game, and it's also why the Crown Prince was drawn to the female lead. She remained unaffected by the chatter. When the blonde boy tells her that spreading such rumors could get her in trouble, she becomes distressed and asks him to keep it a secret, which makes him burst into laughter. He then walks away, promising not to punish her, and as soon as he moves to a more crowded area, nobles begin greeting him with a happy birthday, which means he is indeed the Crown Prince. In Letitia's defense, she didn't recognize him because the game only shows the teenage version of the characters. But that's something she'll have to think about later, as the ladies are now looking at her with disapproval and whispering about how she's not content with being engaged to the Legrand's son and now has her sights set on the Crown Prince. They aren't surprised that Letitia likes men, as they all think this is the only way she can stand out against her twin sister, considering she doesn't have any magic. Hello? Adults? Why is no one stopping these children? Hearing this brings back Letitia's trauma from her past life, but thankfully Lionel arrives just in time to brighten her clouded mind. The girls are so startled to learn that this attractive orange-haired guy is Lionel Legrand that they rush up to him and ask if he remembers them. Absolutely. Lionel recalls them as the daughters of a count and a marquise, particularly when they mocked his appearance during their previous potential engagement. He has no resentment whatsoever because they made it possible for him to meet Letitia, and our romantic guy says this all while bending down and kissing his fiance's hand. She's just a background character, so to see the Crown Prince, Alexia, Roland, and the others giving her so much attention is definitely not on her bingo card. The party wrapped up nicely, and Letitia expresses her gratitude to Lionel for being there for her when the ladies were teasing her. The truth is, Lionel feels responsible because she wouldn't face any mockery if she weren't engaged to him, which makes him even more determined to protect her. Lionel despises people since all he hears from them is ridicule of his appearance, which makes them all doubt that he'll be a great duke someday. Everyone who almost got engaged to him, including Alexia, looked at him with distaste, except for Letitia. She was the only one who met his gaze, and because of that, he worked hard to become a better version of himself to be worthy of her. He also started practicing swordsmanship, and today, this adorable boy gets so distracted when his crush watches him practice. Letitia quickly says sorry for bothering him, but Lionel is really just wishing he had acted cooler in front of her, which makes her blush right away. He sees that Letitia has been looking at him in a new way since his playful gesture at the Crown Prince's party, and he's enjoying it all. Anyway, she is curious about why he is practicing swordsmanship when he's already strong with his magic. This leads Lionel to move closer to her and explain that while it's partly to train his body, his main reason is to ensure he can protect her even without using magic. He understands that their engagement is just arranged, and there's a chance that Letitia might not be happy about it. But he promises to become a strong duke that no one would dare to harm her, ensuring she stays by his side. He's down bad for our girl. 3 years have gone by and puberty has really hit him hard. He looks extra handsome with that grown-up face and that stylish mullet. He seems a bit worn out from school today, but as soon as the maids mention that Letitia is here, he happily walks past her to see her. Even the maids ship these two cuties. Our girl has become more gorgeous, and she still loves sweets just the same. Lionel takes a bite from her fork and locks eyes with her, causing Letitia to blush instantly. Her heart could burst any minute now, and it makes her wonder where her adorable Lionel has gone. Sweetie, you brought this on yourself. He's grown into a man now, but I like how he's still cute. Although the academy has begun, the game scenario hasn't kicked off yet, and she thinks it's all due to the fact that the female lead, who is the same age as her and Alexia, hasn't enrolled yet. She feels a little down about this situation since Lionel has been caught up with schoolwork, and today is the first time they've had a chance to see each other in a week. She begins the conversation by asking how his academy life has been lately, prompting him to remember how exhausting it was when the ladies started to gather around him for help with their lessons after he scored well on an exam. She has been expecting this since the Crown Prince's birthday 3 years ago, when he received so much attention. Now that he is in the academy, more ladies will surely catch his eye, especially talented girls. She's beginning to feel a bit anxious that one day Lionel might meet someone and fall in love with her. Lionel notices this and, with a concerned expression, asks if something is bothering her, urging her to be honest. She chooses to open up about her insecurities and shares that since he's become someone who's handsome, intelligent, and powerful, she feels talentless in comparison and worries that she might eventually become a burden to him. Lionel softly takes her hand and expresses that he's become the person he is today thanks to her. With a tearful expression, he confesses that her presence gave him the strength to work hard, and as he gently places her hand on his face, he expresses that it was she who saved him. She is surprised to learn all of this, which makes her more honest as she admits that she was afraid he might start catching feelings for other ladies at school. Lionel blushes as he gives her a warm hug, telling her that no other lady is as beautiful as she is. He then locks eyes with her, gently reminding her that she can love him romantically, which surprises her because she thought he didn't have feelings for her. The two of them share a kiss, and perhaps because our ginger boy has been looking forward to this moment, he gets a bit too excited and deepens the kiss, prompting our girl to gently push him away. He then smiles and apologizes before inviting her out on a date next weekend. Wow, our teen leads really communicate better than many grown adults in other stories. I love me a straightforward couple. She gets help from Emma the night before her date to choose her dress, which is a pink outfit. But when she wakes up the next day, the dress is wrecked. Letitia confronts Alexia, knowing that she is the one who destroyed her dress, but her twin sister denies this and demands proof. This surprises her since, while she thinks Alexia is selfish and mean, she isn't completely evil enough to do this to her. You know what? I blame their parents. So Letitia ends up in one of her usual dresses, but no need to fret, my dear. Your boyfie, looking fantastic in his white long sleeve and black vest, thinks you're beautiful no matter what. As soon as Lionel sees her, he sweetly grabs her hair, kisses it, and gazes at her with those sparkling eyes, while telling her how pretty she looks today, leaving our girl here feeling all flustered from his charm. Lionel then takes her to a jewelry store owned by a friend, revealing that he reserved the entire shop for the two of them simply because he truly wants to get her a gift today. While the two of them are having fun looking around, a guy with braided hair steps down the stairs and remarks that he's never seen Lionel make such a loving expression before. This guy is Daniel Duran, the owner of the jewelry shop, and his cheerful nature makes it easy for him to get our girl to call him by his first name. They seem to be having fun, but the moment Lionel says his name makes Daniel leave right away. A lilac cameo pendant catches Letitia's eye because it matches the color of Lionel's eyes, so she decides to pick it up. Meanwhile, Lionel chooses a blue one that complements her eyes, wanting to match with her. He then suggests that they add their magic with each other's pendants, and because Letitia doesn't have much, Lionel assists her and the attempt succeeds. Lionel also adds his magic, which fascinates Letitia because it's both powerful and gentle. Right after that, she is surprised to hear his voice in her head and discovers that he added a spell that allows them to communicate as long as they have the pendant. His voice becomes a bit shy as he says that she should just call him Lionel instead of Lord Lionel. He shares that he feels a bit bummed that she did it with Daniel first, which she actually finds really cute. As our adorable couple do the put the necklace on me moment, Daniel can't help but be fascinated by them, especially Lionel, who seems so transformed when he's with the person he loves. He also notices how protective Lionel is, especially when he sees all the spells contained within Letitia's pendant. She is overjoyed when she returns home, so she decides to embroider something for him and give it to him at the evening party. It is a party at the academy, and the students are allowed to bring their lovers, so she was invited to join him. Let me guess, jealous sister will ruin it. She dozes off while working on the handkerchief, but when she wakes up, she is so shocked to find that it has disappeared. There's only one person who will do this, so she quickly heads to Alexia's room. To her surprise, the girl isn't even trying to hide it and casually admits that she really did get rid of it. Instead of getting upset, Letitia simply asks Alexia if she's now satisfied, which only makes Alexia even more furious at how Letitia seems to act all high and mighty as if she understands her. She then reminds Letitia that it's all thanks to her that she got engaged to the boring Lionel, which finally causes our girl to snap and give her sister a good slap for insulting Lionel. This leads to a confrontation between the sisters, where Letitia expresses her frustration about the sudden engagement. She shares that it was tough for her as well, feeling that their parents never considered her feelings and always prioritized Alexia. Thus, she doesn't understand why Alexia is so upset. Alexia reveals that she was never truly happy, even during their childhood. While Letitia enjoyed making flower crowns, Alexia felt the pressure to study, a responsibility she accepted as the eldest sister. That's why she can't quite grasp why Letitia gets to be happy while she can't be with Roland. She hands back the handkerchief, and as she begins crying like a baby, admits that she felt really jealous. Letitia realizes that Alexia was also hurting from their parents' expectations, so she decides to console her sister, and discovers that she fell in love with Roland when he helped her during a tea party when she got lost. She feigned her illness so that they could swap partners, but her engagement to Roland Richard was postponed due to her fake illness. Letitia gently wipes away Alexia's tears, expressing that she would have been there to help if Alexia had shared her struggles from the start. Despite the many tough times between them, Letitia reassures her that their bond as sisters remains unchanged. Alexia finds herself in tears all over again as she asks for Letitia's forgiveness. I have to say, this reconciliation wouldn't have happened without the slap, so a big thank you to that slap for bringing these sisters together. Anyway, it's time for our girl to have some fun at the academy party. She sees how the noble ladies start to admire her boyfriend, so she's nervous to be more graceful tonight, not realizing that she's catching the attention of the men as well. Lionel shoos them away, but there's one person he just can't treat this way, and that's the Crown Prince. He's cute, but no, you can't break up our couple's relationship. The Crown Prince Cedric smiles warmly, but after recalling the past events, Letitia chooses to pretend she doesn't recognize him. This makes the prince chuckle before gently kissing the back of her hand as he formally introduces himself, while Lionel grabs his girl, gives a pointed look at the Crown Prince, and proudly informs him that the lady is his fiancée. Letitia bows to introduce herself, and to her surprise, the Crown Prince leans in closer to whisper that she doesn't need to be cautious since he won't reveal what she said before, which actually brings relief to our girl. The jealous boyfriend over here can't help but notice that the Crown Prince is being overly friendly, so Lionel takes hold of the Crown Prince and, while masking his irritation with a smile, draws him away, saying he needs to greet the other nobles. As the two boys walk away, Lionel sweetly apologizes to Letitia for stepping away for just a moment, using their adorable walkie-talkie necklace. She waves at him and is delighted to discover that the two are actually good friends. Male students who appear interested in her approach her while she waits for Lionel, and remark on how lucky Lionel is to have such a beautiful fiancée. They make fun of him in front of her, saying that Lionel used to be ugly and gloomy. After that, this guy shows off his not-so-great looks to ask our girl for a dance, which really tests the little goodness Letitia has left for them. Meanwhile, Lionel is now searching for her after spending time tending to the Crown Prince. To his surprise, he sees his angry fiancée shouting at those arrogant men, insisting that he's wonderful both then and now. She is really upset and decides to challenge them to hold a plank for at least 30 seconds and apologize, which leaves the men confused and calling her weird before they walk away. Letitia definitely won't let them off the hook that quickly, but Lionel lightly grabs her and shushes her since they're starting to attract the attention of others. Sir, the hand placement on her waist is hottie! They hurry to the balcony as a noble lady with purple hair observes them depart. I'ma shut up until we get to know who that new girl is. Once they reach the balcony, Lionel gives Letitia a warm hug and compliments her on how adorable she is. He mentions that it doesn't really bother him when people insult him, but he appreciates that she gets upset on his behalf. Now, he's a bit concerned that her cuteness might catch the attention of others while Letitia simply stays quiet, maybe because she's blushing a lot. After some time hugging, she invites him to dance, and my, oh my, I want Lionel for myself too! Their relationship is so healthy! Letitia is helping Alexia get ready, but the red-haired girl is feeling a bit anxious and wants to redo her makeup before meeting the love of her life, Roland. Well, today is the day Alexia will finally get engaged to Roland, so she excitedly waves Letitia goodbye before entering the carriage. Letitia is currently in her room, studying how the game unfolds, where Alexia is meant to fall in love with Prince Cedric and take on the role of the villainess. But seeing how in love her sister is with Roland, she just can't picture her falling for Cedric. In this game, you can choose from 4 exciting routes. The first is with the Crown Prince. The second is with Chris, the son of the Minister of Magic. The third is with Emilio, the son of the Prime Minister. And lastly, there's Liam, the son of the Captain of the Knights. The game's heroine is a lovely and innocent pink-haired girl named Diana, who was born into nobility but was kidnapped at the age of 3. She found herself in an orphanage, but when she turned 10, it was discovered that she was the daughter of a baron, leading to a joyful reunion with her family. After that, she will enroll in the academy, and that's when the game truly begins. Letitia is concerned that Diana may select the Crown Prince's path, since that's the one where Alexia plays the villainess, which means there's a possibility her sister might unexpectedly turn to the dark side. Alexia will certainly be exiled or executed, and Letitia, as a family member, will also face punishment. She really needs to find a way to stop that from happening, but no matter how hard she tries, her brain cells aren't cooperating at all, and now all she wants is to hear Lionel's voice. She misses him so much that she starts rubbing the pendant, and she gets really surprised when Lionel actually contacts her. My boy blushes at how adorable Letitia's surprised voice is, and the two of them end up chatting for hours. Lionel expresses his happiness and how much he enjoys having this special side of her all to himself, prompting Letitia to cover her face because she really loves Lionel's voice. Gosh, I might get diabetes with all that sweetness. She is then amazed when he asks whether she feels better now, and she discovers that he noticed how exhausted her voice was at the start of their talk, prompting her to flash a cute smile and assure him that everything is now fine thanks to him. Just like that, 1 year has gone by, and she is now officially a student at the academy. The twins arrive at the school together, and everyone can't help but notice them since they're well known as the twin flowers of House Lambert. Letitia has become prettier and more mature, but the truth is, she's feeling really nervous because going to school means the game has also started. First, she needs to find out what route Diana will choose, and since the girl doesn't have much magic like her, she is confident that they will be in the same general curriculum. But then, her thoughts are interrupted when a guy approaches and offers to show her around the campus. And when she nicely declines, this guy just won't take no for an answer. So Big Sis steps in, unleashing her power and firmly sending him away from her beloved sister. Letitia truly enjoys hearing those sweet words from Alexia, and when she expresses her thanks, Alexia brushes it off, saying that this is simply what sisters do. You know what? Goodness really does make a person look more beautiful, and Alexia looks extra pretty here. Alexia is really concerned about Letitia because both she and Lionel are in the magic curriculum, so they won't be able to look after her. She then gives her a stern warning not to get in trouble and reminds her to contact her right away if anything happens, which Letitia finds so adorable. Letitia looks pleased after her class because she has learned so much about culture and history, as practically all of the books in their home are about magic. As she strolls through the school, she spots 3 ladies surrounding a poor girl, teasing her about being an orphan. The girl, however, clarifies that she's actually the daughter of a baron who once experienced life as an orphan. Baron? Orphan? It's clear that the lady is Diana Lawrence, the game's heroine. Letitia mentally apologizes to Alexia for getting into trouble before taking Diana's hand to eat together. But the ladies scream as they stop her. This prompts our girl to glance over and suggest that they should eat as well, since hunger can make people a bit grumpy, which leaves them baffled. Meanwhile, the purple-haired girl at the back lets out a sigh as she recalls Letitia. Oh, so you really are a witch, huh? Anyway, Letitia and Diana are now sitting on a bench, and the pink girlie expresses her thanks to Letitia, which our girl finds quite cute. Diana takes the bullying since she's indeed from an orphanage, prompting Letitia to hold her hand and dismiss it given that she has noticed how exquisite her movements are, implying that she has worked extremely hard to get where she is now. Diana can't help but feel emotional because no one has ever said such comforting words to her since she arrived in this world, prompting Letitia to nod in understanding, recognizing that as a heroine of the game, she must have faced many challenges. These airheads then exchange that look before realizing they've both been reincarnated in this romantic game. We have 2 isekai ladies! Wow, that's definitely some plot twist! Diana is really surprised by how our girl ended up being reincarnated as Alexia's sister. She also shares how challenging life was when she was born as the game's heroine, to the point that she can hardly recall her past life. Letitia feels the same way, but she shares that she has found someone she loves in this game world. This prompts Diana to reveal that she has 2, and it's Liam. Letitia feels so relieved that it's the red-haired tan boy's route and not the crown prince's, as this means Alexia will be safe from the game's fate. Diana seems a little sad when she mentions that she hasn't told Liam how she feels yet, but the truth is she has loved him since they were kids. In the modern world, Diana used to only play the crown prince's route, so it's quite new for her to find herself in love with a different character. Letitia is there to reassure her that falling in love is a wonderful experience and that she's been cheering for her, which brings tears to Diana again. Honestly, I think that's realistic. Just because you have a bias doesn't mean you'll actually fall in love with them. Anyway, the main issue is that each route has a different villainess. Thus, Diana really has to put in the effort to compete with the love rival in Liam's route. Who might it be? The purple-haired lady? Lunch break is over, and as Letitia walks back to her class, she can't help but feel a wave of joy. Even though she's met wonderful people in this game world, there's something special about having someone from back home. They're definitely going to be besties. She then encounters the purple-haired lady once more, who this time warmly introduces herself as Karina Rosen. Letitia remembers that name, and in the game, she goes by Karina the Witch. She is the daughter of a duke and a villainess, but in a different character route. Karina states that Letitia should consider apologizing to avoid any potential harm to her family's reputation, so Letitia humbly bows and gives a sincere apology. However, Karina finds this unsatisfactory and has one of her lackeys use her power to ensnare Letitia in a magical chain. I just know Alexia will burn this girl while Lionel will ruin her whole family. Karina notices that her cape does not have a hood, indicating that she is in the general curriculum. but the fact that she cannot stop such basic spells make her chuckle. She then asks Letitia to apologize for the insult, and as she looks at our girl, she requests her to do it while kneeling. Karina is in the magic curriculum just like Alexia, which means there's a good chance they might cause Alexia some trouble if she defies her now. So she gets ready to kneel, but suddenly her pendant shines and breaks the chain right away. In a flash, Lionel shows up and gives her a warm smile before shooting Karina a fierce look, asking why she used magic on his fiancé. However, this lady uses her family's high-ranking status, insisting that she's just teaching Letitia a lesson for being impolite. Huh? Do you really think that you will scare our guy here? Lionel demands Karina to apologize for being rude to Letitia, which leads Karina to point out how protective he is, considering that he usually doesn't show interest in anyone. This prompts a heavy sigh from Lionel, who with a stern voice reiterates, "She is my fiancée," before cruelly mocking her hearing ability, leaving Karina feeling deeply humiliated. "I'm really enjoying that attitude, sir." She then gives Letitia a fierce glare before walking away, while our girl lets out a sigh of relief and looks at Lionel, as this is her first time witnessing this intimidating side of him. Once the pests are out of the picture, Lionel goes back to her usual charming self, fretting about whether Letitia is okay, and even considering casting a new spell on her pendant that would kill anyone who tries to use magic on her. He then playfully squishes her face before nuzzling her shoulder, urging her to call him right away next time, completely unconcerned about the students watching them get all lovey-dovey. Today, Alexia visits Letitia's room in tears, which makes Letitia quite concerned. However, she feels a sense of relief knowing that after they got along, Alexia is now opening up and showing her vulnerable side. The progress, I love it! Alexia shares that Roland has been a bit distant lately, just like when they were at the academy, and he doesn't seem to want to meet her at their manors anymore. Roland is the third son of Count Richard, and from what Letitia has noticed, it seems he has genuine feelings for her sister. So when Alexia begins to worry that Roland doesn't like her anymore, Letitia thinks there might be some reasons for that. Letitia then gently touches her sister's hand and reassures her not to worry, because she will sort everything out for her. Letitia meets Roland on purpose at the academy and wants to know why he is not with her sister today. Hearing Alexia's name makes Roland look distressed, so Letitia asks what happened between the two, prompting Roland to explain that he is the problem. Our girl can't seem to figure out the guy, considering that he's not one of the game's main characters, so she assumes it's a family issue, which is actually correct. She then reassures him that both Alexia and she are on his side, encouraging him to finally open up and ask if she knows about the Shadows. She really doesn't know, so Roland decides to explain that Shadows is an organization that takes care of the nation's intelligence and security. Whether it's protecting vital individuals or stealing sensitive information from foreign countries, their operations always put their lives in danger. Letitia thinks of them as the spies of the modern world, but she's taken aback when Roland shares that House Richard is actually a family bodyguard who operates as Shadows. Suddenly, his side begins to hurt, and there he collapses. Bet he got hurt while working as a shadow. Letitia quickly hurries to check on him, and upon noticing that he's burning up, she promptly uses her pendant to call Lionel. As soon as he hears Letitia's voice, he stylishly appears behind her and asks what happened, urging her to share the details about Roland. Lionel hurriedly brings Roland to the infirmary, but to their dismay, the doctor is not present today. So, Lionel decides to just take off Roland's clothes by himself. Letitia is really surprised by what her boyfriend is doing, but it seems Lionel's suspicion is right. Roland has been cursed, and that black mark on his side is the evidence. Looks like Alexia's fiancé is getting in on the planking fun too, huh? He's in great shape! Regardless, curses are a type of magic that can be quite dangerous, but fortunately, Roland's curse isn't too severe at this point, enabling Lionel to lift it. Once Roland wakes up, Lionel inquires if he received the curse while working as a shadow. Roland confirms this, leaving Lionel a bit confused, as he believes shadow work starts only when they turn 20, meaning Roland shouldn't be working just yet. Roland mentions that he feels weaker compared to his older brothers, so he put in a lot of effort to demonstrate his progress because if not, he can't quite finish his sentence, but Letitia understands that he's trying to prove himself worthy of Alexia, which catches Roland off guard. She knows because she sometimes feels unworthy of being Lionel's fiancé, but she believes that this way of thinking is wrong. As she holds Lionel's hand, she expresses that what truly matters is being more open about each other's feelings. Suddenly, a worried Alexia rushes into the room, tears in her eyes, and wraps her arms around him as Roland gives his apologies. I'm really glad that the twins have such wonderful partners. Now that the couple has made up, Letitia and Lionel decide to step away, and our girl takes the chance to apologize for making him use high-level magic like teleportation. He gives her a warm back hug, assuring her that the spell is just for her, and then leans in for a sweet kiss, playfully reminding her not to spend time alone with other men. Lionel is such a green flag. I appreciate how he prioritizes helping above getting all jelly now. What a sweetie! In her cooking class, Letitia has the chance to create some lovely cupcakes, and she plans to gift them all to Lionel. However, as she makes her way to him, a girl with braided black hair purposely bumps into her. Fortunately, someone catches her quickly, and it's not Lionel. It's the Crown Prince. Cedric shoots a glare at the ladies, causing them to quickly run away, while Letitia realizes they are Karina's sidekicks. After that, he becomes serious and offers to help her. For starters, he says that expelling the two would be a piece of cake. She quickly declines, but smiles and says she's extremely grateful for his willingness to help. The Crown Prince finds himself captivated before shifting the conversation as he hands back her bag of cupcakes. She radiates joy as she reveals the cupcakes she intends to give Lionel, causing the Crown Prince to feel a pang of sadness before encouraging her to go see him. She quickly leaves, but then comes back to the Crown Prince and hands him one of the cupcakes as a thank you for his help, which he happily accepts. He can't help but smile as he gazes at the homemade cupcake, and unlike those around him who offers gifts with ulterior motives, Cedric is truly happy to receive a present for the first time. The Crown Prince seems like a really nice guy. Someone please give him me. Someone just as wonderful. As Letitia makes her way to their meeting spot, she notices Diana and Liam together, so she hurriedly hides to eavesdrop. Liam seems a bit concerned about how Diana has been pulling away from him. This has prompted the insecure girl to share her feelings, explaining that she believes they aren't a good match because their ranks are too different. He gently pulls her closer, reassuring her that their love goes beyond any differences in rank, and our girlie watches as these two are about to share a kiss. I would stop by to watch some spicy moments myself too. Diana gently pushes Liam while apologizing and crying before she runs away, leaving Liam feeling confused and perhaps crushed about what just happened, making it hard for him to chase after her. Letitia decides to follow her friend, and just as she's about to call her name, she gets surprised to see Lionel, who's now pouting. He expresses his worries about her not arriving at their meeting place, which makes her feel frantic as she explains what happened. After listening to her side, Lionel realizes that she was so overly worried about her friend that she suddenly forgot him, prompting our girl to quickly give him a hug and say sorry. Of course, our very understanding guy here is just having a bit of fun with her because honestly, she looks adorable when she's being clingy and apologetic. Using his magic, he summons a bird to assist in finding Diana, which brings her a sense of relief. However, he playfully mentions that this help isn't free and suggests she should set aside some time for him once everything is settled. She shyly nods as Lionel chuckles, eager to look for Liam, but suddenly Cedric appears offering his help. Letitia feels extremely awkward when someone catches them cuddling, so she pushes our dear Lionel away. Lionel shoots Cedric a furious look that says, "Get lost," while the Crown Prince here simply gives him a smile and resumes chatting with Letitia, explaining that Liam is actually his aide, so he can just look for him while she focuses on finding Diana. This makes our girl really happy, prompting Cedric to bring up that he's lending a hand because of the tasty cupcake she gave him, which makes Lionel feel a bit uneasy. It seems the Crown Prince knows he can't win Letitia over, so maybe he's just trying to irritate Lionel? Not long after that, Lionel's messenger bird comes back, which means that Diana has been located. Diana is currently soaking in the rain, but Letitia comes to her with protective magic, which blocks the rain. Who needs an umbrella when you've got a magical genius boyfie? Letitia then inquires about the reason behind her conflict with Liam, leading Diana to think that it is all her fault. When Diana arrived at the orphanage, she felt so frightened that she spent her days crying. And even though she was aware of the game world, it should not be overlooked that she was still just a child. In spite of her fears of the new place, she overcame them after meeting little Liam at the orphanage. She felt a wave of relief when she discovered one of the game characters, and as a lonely and desperate child, she cried her eyes out while hugging Liam, who was left feeling quite confused. He wasn't sure what to do, so he said sorry if he startled her and even offered her some candies. But honestly, Diana was just overjoyed to have found someone she recognized. After that, Liam would always check in on her during his visits to volunteer at the orphanage, and that was how she naturally developed deep feelings for him. However, when Karina and the others kept harassing her for being a noble lady from an orphanage, even going so far as to splash her with water, she felt so small and believed she wasn't worthy of being with someone like Liam, the son of a duke. Letitia understands that everyone who has experienced love has faced moments of insecurity, feeling unworthy of the person they love, just like she and Roland did. Now, she sees Diana going through the same feelings. She gives Diana's shoulder a gentle pat and shares that she once felt the same worry about not being good enough. She reassures her that the most important thing in a relationship is simply their love for one another. Lastly, Letitia asks Diana directly if she loves Liam, and her confident answer is yes. They all meet up with the others, and Diana chooses to be more honest, telling Liam about being bullied because she's the daughter of a baron who grew up in an orphanage. Liam becomes outraged and is ready to kill those ladies, but the Crown Prince intervenes, urging him not to act hastily because Diana will be the one to pay the price in the end. Liam feels helpless, but he chooses to do what he can right now. Kneel before his girlfriend, apologize for not realizing how much she was suffering, and promise to protect her. Another day, another relationship fix from Letitia here. But I think you need to protect your relationship first, sweetie, because the Crown Prince decides to lean closer and cheerfully notes that they did an excellent job assisting the couple today. Letitia steps back slightly as she expresses her thanks, but this guy chooses to gently touch her hair and says it's no big deal as long as it brings her happiness. Quickly, Lionel smashes the Crown Prince's hand and steps in between them, all the while glaring at him. "My darling is engaged, so you had best know when to back off, mister!" Cedric playfully tells Lionel to calm down while explaining that he's just brushing Letitia's hair behind her ear to keep it out of her eyes. However, Lionel, still glaring, insists that it's his job to worry about things like that, not his. Cedric lets out a sigh and chooses to leave before Lionel's feelings towards him get any worse. As soon as everyone has left, Lionel quickly wraps Letitia in a hug, softly mumbling about his dislike for Cedric. He asks her to ignore the Crown Prince next time, which makes Letitia think that maybe Lionel is feeling a bit jealous. She quickly reassures him that today and in the future, her love will only be for him, and they end up sharing a sweet kiss. Words of affirmation and physical touch are definitely their love language. Meanwhile, Karina is dragged by her two sidekicks to a fortune teller, which she considers a waste of time, but she becomes fascinated when the mysterious fortune teller finds out that she despises Letitia. She knows Karina hates the idea that an excellent lady like her is being ignored, so with an evil sneer, she offers her an ominous bracelet that can destroy the woman she hates. Today, in the school garden, Diana finally gets to eat with both of the Lambert sisters, and it seems like Alexia is completely on board with it. She happily smiles and says that any friend of Letitia is also her friend, which really touches Diana's heart. Just then, their handsome boyfriends arrive, and being the most dramatic one here, Alexia immediately goes to Roland, complaining that she waited for so long. On the other hand, the calm Roland is accustomed to her behavior and just apologizes. Liam is sitting next to Diana, feeling a bit concerned about whether she waited too long. But Lionel, seated next to Letitia, is aware that Alexia is merely being dramatic, which causes Letitia to begin giggling. She really enjoys this. It's so much fun to see Lionel and Alexa bickering while Roland is caught in the middle. On the other side, her dear friend Diana is also having a great time with Liam. After all that happened in their relationships, they're finally getting together for a group date. Everyone is so cute! As she enjoys watching everyone around her, Lionel is focused on her, playing with her hair and wondering what he can do to catch her attention. Before she can respond, he has given her a kiss right there in front of their friends. I think it's funny how everyone gets embarrassed while Alexia looks irritated. So sister-coded! However, it appears that someone else was observing them, and it is Karina who is now furious. Karina feels frustrated that Lionel is so in love with someone she seems as incompetent like Letitia, when she believes it could have been her. I am sure you disregarded him before, so to say you like him now is crazy. She keeps saying how much she hates Letitia, and it looks like that has really powered up the magic in her bracelet. She takes the opportunity to use it on our girl, and just like that, Letitia falls to the ground. Lionel quickly checks on her and is shocked to find out that she's been cursed, a particularly wicked black curse that steals the life of its target. This news sends Alexia into a panic as she can't understand who would do such a thing to her sister. They've returned home, and all Lionel can do with his magic is slow down the progress of the curse, and he's becoming increasingly frustrated with himself, wondering if this is all he can accomplish after all of his training. It's been days, and Alexia decides to ask Lionel to switch with her because he has been pumping Letitia with his powers for days. She argues that he could be the next one to go down, so he takes her advice and lets Alexia care for her sister. While she supplies Letitia with her magic, Alexia looks so fearful and swears to never forgive her if she dies. Hello again. Where the heck are the adults in this game world? As soon as Lionel steps out of the room, the other three are right outside, and Diana quickly hurries over to ask about Letitia's condition. Lionel reluctantly shares some difficult news with her. The curse is eating Letitia's body, and she won't wake up, leaving Diana utterly horrified and in tears. Lionel then turns to Roland to request his and the other shadows' help, knowing that the only way to break the black curse is for the caster to cancel it. With a furious look, he vows to track down whoever cursed his girl. After a few days, Letitia weakly opens her eyes and finds she's in her room. Her head begins to ache, and she's surprised to hear a worried voice. But when she turns, it is not our ginger boy, but the crown prince. Why this prince? I'd really like to see Lionel, not you. Cedric beams with relief, happy that Letitia has finally woken up, and he kindly asks Emma to share the good news with everyone. Before anything else, Letitia is curious about why the crown prince is here, but she feels a sharp pain in her chest and throughout her body. She's curious about what happened, so the crown prince explains that she's been cursed in a way that affects not just her body, but also her soul. She then asks who cursed her, but she doesn't get a clear answer. Instead, she finds out that Lionel has been looking into things at the academy along with Liam, Roland, and the other students. She feels bad about causing trouble for Lionel again, and Cedric sees that her mood has shifted. He then reassures her that the elite knights and mages working under him are also assisting in the investigation, encouraging her to take some time to rest now. To his surprise, Letitia gets out of bed, and despite wobbling and trembling, she confidently declares that she will go to the academy and search for the culprit herself. Cedric feels quite frustrated, so he asks what she plans to do once she finds the culprit. He is certain that whoever the caster is must really resent her, to the extent of wanting to kill her, so meeting the caster could definitely be dangerous. After saying that, he thinks Letitia will head back to bed, but to his surprise, she gives him a firm no. All this time, Lionel has been looking out for her, but she doesn't want to keep it that way. Instead of always seeing his back, she wants to walk alongside him. She then tells Cedric that she will take care of this and meet the caster for her own personal gain, which makes Cedric change his mind and choose to help her instead. My prince, again? You can have me again, so don't ever think of getting Letitia, okay, nice boy? Meanwhile, Alexia and Diana, with tears of joy, eagerly open the door, but feel a bit down when they realize they've arrived too late, as Letitia is nowhere to be found in her room. Lionel, Liam, and Roland's investigation has taken them outside the Rosen residence. They've heard from witnesses who saw Karina cast the magic towards Letitia, but the problem is that they don't have enough evidence to back this up. However, Lionel really doesn't have time to search for evidence right now, so he chooses to just ask Karina directly. The three boys are now facing Duke Rosen, and Lionel asks if they can meet Karina, but the Duke turns them down, saying his daughter is now sick. Our guy's patience is becoming thin, so he has no fear of giving the Duke a pointed look as he asks to let Karina know he's here to see her, which catches the Duke off guard and makes him decide to comply. Not long after, Karina reveals herself, which makes her uneasy because she never expected Lionel to come to see her so soon, while she's still looking for ways to remove the bracelet. She is so anxious that she doesn't realize she is constantly rubbing her arm, which Lionel has been noticing. So he asks that she show her left arm, but she uses her fake illness to push them to leave. This conversation appears to be going nowhere, so Liam heads toward Karina, where they discover that she's actually wearing an ominous-looking bracelet, proving that she cursed Letitia. Lionel had already given her a serious warning, so he does not understand why Karina placed a curse on Letitia, forcing this witch to voice her outrage, claiming that Letitia is unworthy of him when she is here, who is more magically talented. She can't believe that a family as great as House Legrand is allowing him to get engaged to someone who seems ordinary, which prompts Lionel to remind her that his family has never been particularly skilled in magic, so they don't choose their marriage partners based on that. This makes the obsessive girl rush over to him, push Roland aside, and sit next to Lionel, assuring him that she can be a better support. This leads our guy to sigh and ask what it is that she finds appealing about him. Karina blushes as she shares how much she admires everything about him. Not only is he great with magic, but he's also impressive with a sword. Plus, he's strong and a fantastic dancer too. Ew! I don't like the way she's blushing. Such a delulu. Regardless, this makes Lionel start laughing really hard before he gets serious and says that everything she likes about him is something he learned for Letitia. The swordsmanship? It is to protect Letitia. A good dancer? It is because Letitia invited him to dance. He then gives her a cold glance and bluntly tells her that none of it is for her, causing Karina to appear horrified at him. Lionel gets 100 points for his flawless coldest answer. Letitia really loved him at his lowest, and she indeed made the once shy boy into everyone's dream man. At that moment, the Imperial Knights come marching in, and Letitia, along with the Crown Prince, makes a grand entrance. Lionel hurries over to our girl, feeling so happy that she's finally awake. He can't help but ask what she's doing here, which prompts her to share that she actually convinced the Crown Prince to bring her along. Karina becomes so furious by seeing Letitia that she screams, mocking her for being a Count's second daughter who doesn't have magic. Lionel is becoming increasingly agitated, but he is stopped by Letitia, who decides to walk closer to Karina, admitting that she lacks many outstanding traits. But she is confident of one thing: her love for Lionel. The Crown Prince smiles as he listens to her. Liam and Roland are in awe, and Lionel has fallen for her all over again. She then asks Karina to remove the bracelet, but this girl refuses and is now releasing so much cursed power that it backfires on her. Karina is unable to control the power, but there's no need to worry because Lionel is here to protect Letitia. Roland throws the magic sealing bracelet to Liam, who promptly cuffs it around Karina's wrist, causing the dark magic to disappear. Now that the big problem is over, Lionel cutely checks in on Letitia to see if she's in pain or anything, but our girl is just concerned about what will happen to Karina, who just fainted. The Crown Prince announces that because Karina used a curse to harm a Count's daughter, she is likely to face a severe punishment. After hearing that, Letitia finally feels the exhaustion wash over her, and she collapses into Lionel's arms. It's already morning when she wakes up, and ooh la la, she gets so startled and blushes when she realizes she's in bed with the sleeping Lionel. When Lionel wakes up, he warmly greets her with a good morning and gives her an extra hug before sitting up right away to see if the curse has truly left her body. Letitia feels better now, but she's a bit confused about why he's in her bed. He reassures her that there's nothing to be anxious about, since Alexia, Emma, and Diana were also right by her side just a little while ago. He gives her a warm back hug, feeling relieved that she's finally okay now. But our girl can't help but worry that her sister and Emma might see them like this. But this guy really wants her to stay and just pulls her back to bed for some cuddles. Ugh, get married already! So guys, what do you think of this story so far? Please subscribe and turn on notifications for updates on this and all our other stories, so you can be the first to find out when they're out. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next one!